Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to get into a really important topic, one that affects millions of us but is still so often misunderstood. We're talking about the unique world of female mental health. So let's just kick things off with a stat that'll really make you think. Women are twice, that's 2 times, as likely as men to experience depression. That's a huge difference, and it tells us right away that there's something very specific going on here. And that, of course, leads us to the big question we're going to explore together. Why? What are all the factors that create this gap? Let's dive right in and find out. Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about why this is about so much more than just moods. Then, we'll zoom in on huge life stages like pregnancy and menopause. After that, we'll get into the really practical stuff, the key warning signs to look out for, and probably most important of all, the different ways to get help and support.
All right, first up, we have to get this idea out of our heads that we're only talking about feelings. It is so much more complex than that. We're really looking at this intricate mix of biology, hormones, and just life experiences.
So here's the core idea. When we talk about female mental health, we're not just putting a label on something. We're specifically talking about the challenges that come from hormonal cycles, from major biological shifts like puberty or menopause, and from all the unique social pressures women often face. And this is where it gets real. Because of all those factors we just mentioned, you see certain conditions pop up way more often in women. Things like depression and anxiety for sure, but also conditions that are tied directly to female biology, like postpartum depression and PMDD. Okay, let's zoom in on one of those huge, life-altering phases, pregnancy and the time after giving birth. The journey to becoming a mom is this massive whirlwind of hormonal, physical, and emotional change, and it can have a huge impact on your mental well-being. Now, this is a really, really important one to get right. A lot of us have heard of the baby blues, those temporary mood swings that happen right after birth. But postpartum depression, or PPD, that's a whole different ballgame. It is a serious, long-lasting condition that absolutely needs professional support. They are not the same thing. So let's be super clear. PPD is an actual clinical diagnosis. It's so much more than just feeling a little sad. We're talking about a deep, profound sadness, a level of fatigue that feels bone deep, and sometimes a really tough time connecting with the new baby, which you can imagine is incredibly painful for a new mom. But here's the hopeful part, and it's so important to hear this. PPD is treatable. There's a clear path forward. It usually involves a mix of things like therapy, sometimes medication like antidepressants, and the power of support groups, connecting with other moms who actually get it. All right, let's shift gears to another massive hormonal transition, menopause. Just like puberty or pregnancy, this change in midlife can bring a whole new set of challenges for a woman's mental health. The drop in estrogen that happens during menopause can have a direct effect on your brain chemistry. This isn't just about getting older. It's a real biological shift that can trigger intense mood swings, anxiety, depression, and, for so many, really serious sleep problems. And the good news here, just like with PPD, is that there are great ways to manage these symptoms. It can be a whole toolkit of options, from hormone replacement therapy to deal with the biology, to therapy and lifestyle changes to build new coping skills, and of course, medication if the symptoms are more severe. So we've talked about these big life stages, but what are some of the universal signs that something might be wrong? This next bit is really a practical guide for every single one of us, for ourselves and for the people we care about. Okay, you're going to want to pay close attention to this list. These are the red flags. We're talking about things like ongoing sadness that just won't lift for more than 2 weeks, big changes in sleep or eating habits, or suddenly losing interest in things you used to love. It can even show up physically, like with random aches and pains you can't explain. Just knowing these signs is the first crucial step. Recognizing the signs is step 1, but what's step 2? It's knowing where to go from there. So let's talk about the actual pathways to getting support and starting to heal. One specific condition that really needs this support is PMD. And listen, this is not just bad PMS. PMD is a severe, sometimes debilitating condition where the mood swings, the irritability, all the symptoms are so intense that they actually get in the way of your job, your relationships, your daily life. And once again, there's a clear game plan for managing it. It's often a combination of things, lifestyle changes, specific medications that can help regulate mood or hormones, and therapy. It just reinforces that key point, help is out there. And if we kind of zoom out a bit, these strategies are powerful tools for managing stress during any big life change, right? Whether it's pregnancy, menopause, a new job, a loss, therapy, exercise, healthy habits, and having people you can lean on, these are the pillars of mental resilience for everyone. This quote really brings it all home, doesn't it? Seeing these signs in yourself or someone else isn't about weakness, it's about awareness. Reaching out for help is one of the strongest, most proactive things you can do for your well-being. It's you taking back control. And all of this leaves us with one final, and I think really vital question. Understanding the science is one thing, but changing the culture is something else entirely. How can we, in our families, with our friends, at work, make it safer and easier for women to talk about all this stuff without feeling judged? That's the conversation we all need to have. Thanks so much for joining me.